Got it. Hit the done there. And got it. Did I put that there in my pocket again? Let's see. Jesus, Monesus. Got it right there. I gotta see what I did. Okay. Pen tablet, pen right there is what I was looking for. All righty, y'all. Namaste, namaste, namaste. Islam, Islam, Islam. I am Brother Hasan Ghaziel Bey here at Morocco at Northwest of Nexum. How are you? Happy Holy Venus degree to you all. We're going to have a pretty brief one today, actually. However, we're going to go with our invocation in to start us off. Brother R. Bey is going to have us with our invocation in, turn to Moorish American prayer. As a matter of fact, I'm Brother Hasan Ghaziel Bey, of course, right? And I'm here with my magnificent bro, in whom I'm well pleased, and he is.
Happy Holy Venus degree. I am Brother R. Bey. All rights reserved.
Yay, yay. All right, guys. So we're about to get in. We're going on with some basics, some concept correction basics, right? However, as always, for our Happy Holy Venus degree, we always are resounding our supreme honors to and for Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Sheikh Sharif Abdul Ali doing religious corporate activity being Prophet Noble Drew Ali for bringing back to that which has always existed. We just needed a reminder, right? Be taught and reminded pertaining to who we actually are instead of having these emotional ties to things that are fiscally, so to speak, at someone else's advantage, but definitely not our advantage at all. So what we're going to do is we're just going to, continue to present some things that have nothing to do with our beliefs or belief systems because we don't deal with that. Only fools and babies deal with belief systems. Be not offended, for we can only tell you the truth. The truth is stern, it doesn't change, and it doesn't pass away. And nor can be utilized or said to be true if you say something because it's your beliefs and opinion. Like, well, I'm going to say that to try to. No, guys. There's rules and levels to this shit. All righty, respectfully saying. So, what we're going to do is continue to present how we always do, and that is openly, honestly, and truthfully to make sure you guys have exactly what it is you need. I know we're also simultaneously casting. You guys can see also behind me, right? I am live also via Instagram. So what we're going to do is we're going to do our invocation in with Brother R. Bey. I'm going to do the first letter to be read in every meeting, and Brother R is going to do the second letter to be read in every meeting. And when we close out, I'll be doing the invocation out. However, guys, we're going to be going over, just to give you a heads up, we're going over the term black. We're going to look at that etymologically to show you guys that you're not pale dead monkey people, right? And this isn't Pale Dead Monkey Friday. All righty, because black, according to science, is death. However, in linguistics, black is pale. We'll go over that on Etim Online. Kiwi litermotu us, right? On page 313 in Henry Campbell Black's Law Dictionary, PDF, page 389. There you'll see, what it means to be civilly dead, which is also black, right? So black is pale, black is dead. And in anthropology, black is a chimpanzee, actually. So, pale dead monkey lives matter not. Because I can be dead and have lives. You're a zombie, right? Pale dead monkey people don't exist. I mean, there are black people, however, they're pale. And their status is dead. All righty, as far as when it comes to those of us that are the free white standing havers, so to speak, right? And also it's chimpanzee because our genes were mixed with that of a chimpanzee. For you to even have the people that you falsely call white people, however, they're the actual black people. And that's what we're getting to here today. Just getting our concepts correct, not just comprehending it like I or Brother Aura, but having the basics to your comprehension so you'll know, oh, this is how I need to actually be looking at these words like a grown mother or grown son. And not just because I feel our people need to come together, power to the peepholes. It's like, well, can you really see? You're talking about peepholes there. Are you really peeping what we're putting down? Just, into the rabbit hole and really see what you're peeping there, to be specific. However, let's get to this invocation in, right? And really go in on what it is that we're speaking on. And guys, when we complete our invocation in and the 2 letters will be read in every meeting, join us at 7 Hill Stars YouTube, 7 Hill Star, all rights reserved. You guys can join us at that YouTube and see how we will go in. We're going to go in All right, we're going to show you the resources that we're using. You know, we hide nothing. You know, we actually share a lot of our content, and for some reason that makes certain people go on their Me Too sprees and try to create, you know, packages of different things. And, oh, we know this about nationality too. And it's like, okay. However, Seven Hill Star about to complete their 8th year and go into their 9th as far as sharing this information freely after sitting at the feet pertaining to many elders that have shared the information with me freely. And that's why you guys can go and click it. And a few of you have these past couple of days been clicking on the link in our link tree to have access to Prophet Noble Duality University. So with that, we're really going to go in on these things. So, and to answer your questions, I see the questions already generating there in the chat and Instagram. Guys, you're really not going to want to miss this. As we get off this Instagram, we're going to stay live on YouTube because we're simultaneously streaming right now here on Instagram and on YouTube at Seven Hill Stars YouTube. All right, and we want to really, really go in on that. All righty, I am Brother R. Just had some few things to share. We should be done in under an hour from the time we get started on the material after we read the second letter to be read in every meeting. All right, and Brother R has something he wants to read from the literature that Mother Rosmariah B. Bey gives you when you order your literature from rvbaypublications.com. All righty, and some of that preliminary literature that you don't expect to get extra when she actually gives you either your nationality card, student card, travel card, or any other books. She also gives extra pieces pertaining to literature for you to further expand your concept correction so that you can get out of being emotionally attached to Negro, Black, and colored. All right. So that's what we're going to get to. All righty, guys. So I know, sometimes you just, I'm around my people. You know how we do. You know what I mean. No, I don't. I'm not going to go along and get along with what do you mean. All righty. So that's just being honest. What'd you say, bro?
They need to stop clinging to those names and principles that delude to slavery. That's correct. What they're doing when they emotionally attach themselves. Their emotions are like the cat nails just clawing into those principles that are hurting them. It kind of reminds me of that picture of the snake that was wrapped around a blade. He didn't know he was hurting himself. He was just like squeezing the knife. The snake was killing himself. That's what you're doing when you're clinging to those names and principles.
Islam, I completely agree. I'm going to go screen share, bro, so that we can get started and help some beings out here to find out who they are, right? And you'll, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. So you're easily going to see who you are once you really grasp the concepts and how to sincerely study. You just can't be listening to people on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. You can't just listen. You got to have some actual tools to be able to assist yourself. So let's really go in on that. So we want to go in here. We're going to start on out, guys, and do what we do here for Instagram. Like I said, after we do the second letter to be read in every meeting, everybody go on over, or you can start going now. It doesn't matter. To Seven Hill Star. All righty. Seven Hill Star's YouTube channel. Seven Hill Star All Rights Reserved YouTube channel. You guys can see this full presentation that we're going to give. I guarantee you will not be disappointed, because this will, it's one thing for us to give you a fish. Here we're going to teach you how to fish so you can eat for a lifetime. All righty. And really start, using these principles to look at other things too, not just, how this word means this. You'll be able to learn how to look into different, case study, as far as case law, as far as different statutes, codes, and policies, so that you can really comprehend what's being written, so you're sure of what you are and what you are not. All right. So with that being said, let me do the screen share here for Brother R. Go in on the invocation in term of the Moorish American prayer. I want to bring up the Divine Constitution and Bylaws for the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, Moorish Science Temple of America. Even though, this particular one that we normally bring up, it's, someone had designed this in some way of some sort where they got Divine Constitution of Moorish America. However, I've seen many different ones, just that how pronounced the colors are and things like that, so to speak, and how clear it is why I'm using this one. However, I'm pretty sure I could bring up the one that is in the administrative function, so you guys can see the Divine Constitution and Bylaws there. Moorish Holy Temple of Science. Administrative functions, which you can also get from rvbaypublications.com. All right, so you're welcome there. Alrighty. And so let me stand here. Guys, we're going to extend all 5 appendages on our left hand, just the index and middle on our right. We're going to face east, and that is symbolic, metaphysically speaking, to going within. Alrighty. So facing directional east is symbolic to going within. Alrighty. And Brother R. Muawiyah is going to read that Moorish American prayer there, upon which Prophet Noble Drew Ali is standing squarely, as he's standing there handsomely in his Shari's fez and above, standing due guard. And this is where I yield the floor to my beloved brother, in whom I'm well pleased, Brother R. Muawiyah Bey. Islam.
Islam, repeat after me.
Islam.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
The Father of love.
Father of love.
Truth.
Truth.
Peace.
Peace.
Freedom.
Freedom.
And justice.
And justice.
Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide.
My guide.
And my salvation.
And my salvation.
By night and by day.
By night and by day.
Through his holy prophet.
Through his holy prophet.
Noble Drew Ali.
Noble Drew Ali.
Amen.
Amen. All righty, guys. Let's actually get this going. Let me bring up the first letter to be read in every meeting, which I will read. Let me go and double click here and go to our photos. All righty, so we're here in the book I just referenced when I said Moorish Holy Temple of Science Administrative Function, right? And pages 84 and 85. The following is a letter written by Prophet Noble Drew Ali on the 18th day of January, all righty, 1928 Anno Domini, right? That's what it is there. So let's turn this around for you guys, right? So you can see there. Let me turn the light out so it doesn't blind you, so you can actually see what we have here. On the 18th day, pertaining to January 1928 Anno Domini, he commanded that it be read in every meeting, all righty? And on page 85 here, in the Moorish Holy Temple of Science Administrative Functions, here's the letter, Moorish Science Temple of America, Home Office, 3603 Indiana Avenue. Noble Drew Ali, founder, Chicago, Illinois, January 18th, 1929. To be proclaimed in every meeting, dear brother Islam, I'm glad to know that I have few faithful Moors among you. All, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There's a host of jealousy, quote unquote, about me and the movement, now by the same people of our side of the nation that claim it was only a joke and unreal. But now, since they have found out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as an American citizen, they're working every scheme that they can to disqualify me so they themselves may, take charge of the situation. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is through the faithful Moors that contribute to the movement and uplifting funds. The ones that repay their divine respect to me and the movement will be remembered. That is why I am calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your divine Moorish movement. I need finance and I need it bad. Never before have I needed finance as badly as I do at present. That I may shove aside the discord that is facing the mothers, right? Nation is mothers facing the nation. It all comes through jealousy, and it all comes through jealousy because of my, quote, fame and nobility, end quote, period. The nations of the world will not recognize the movement without me, the prophet, being the head. It has been proven by my work in which I have performed in the last few months, because I was at the governor's inauguration to represent the Moorish Divine and National Movement, and I will be at the inauguration of President Hoover for the same cause. Noble Drew Ali. Second letter to be read in every meeting is from the excerpts from the Moorish Guide newspaper, term the Prophet's literature, right? Moorish literature, right? From Prophet Noble Drew Ali. So pages 12 and 13 in this particular book you can get from RBayPublications.com. See again, Prophet Noble Drew Ali standing handsomely due guard in his Sharif's fez, in his Abba. And on page 13, Brother R. Muawiyah Bey is going to read the second letter to be read in every meeting. And I yield the floor, Brother Islam.
Islam, brother, just 1 second. I had actually located something that might be cool to bring up.
All right.
I'm gonna send it to you real quick, and just so we have that. Actually, I should put it. I'll put it in the chat here in Zoom.
It's not.
And then I'll be.
It's in the chat here for Zoom, right?
Yeah, that's one. I just posted it. Oh yeah,
Islam.
That's dealing with the monkey that you were speaking of earlier. All right.
Islam.
Let me turn this thing. All right, Islam. Divine warning by the Prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Prophet warns all Muslim governors order to read proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical agitating speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet, Noble Drew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans, that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways by order of Prophet Noble Drew Ali.
Excellent. Just to let it be known, guys, what we're going in on today. Just letting you know, guys, going in on Black here on etimonline.com, right? Come back here. I want to let you guys know, too, we're going into Henry Campbell Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition here. We're here at page 313. We're going to be going in on Kiwi Liter Mortuus, right? Dealing with the term that's dealing with being civilly dead. You guys can go to YouTube, 7hillstar.com's YouTube channel. We're also going to go on page 331. So we're going to be going from 313 to 331 and show you how Black, Kiwi Liter Mortuus, and the term color, C-O-L-O-R, all are being emotionally attached to. You guys are emotionally attaching yourselves to these words. Those of you that may not have journeyed certain paths, such as my brothers, Brother R. Bey, and the rest of our brothers here at 7 Hill Star Astrology Firm. All righty. So these are some things that are paramount for you to have before saying you're some great knower of knowledge and all these other things. Like, can you even comprehend basic terms? And do you have a protocol in which how to go about analyzing these things? All righty. Because we know a lot of people don't. A lot of you aren't until we show you what we have. All righty. Guess it got too hot now.
Pardon the interjection. Did the phone overheat?
Yeah, you see it. Yeah, it's saying it's overheated, and that's only. And I can tell, man. I was just holding it just for a quick second or whatever, but I'll just wait till it does what it does or whatever, like cool off, right?
May I suggest? I just wanted to make a quick suggestion that before we go into any definition, we actually look up the definition of etymology, right? So that they could comprehend, well, what do you mean an etymological dictionary, right? What do you mean etimonline.com?
Yeah, I know, right? So let's do that since we're already here, already in the screen share. Let's get it. Let's see if we can look up the word etymology on Etymonline. All right. What is etymology? I yield the floor to you, bro.
Islam. Etymology is first and foremost, it's a noun. Late 14th century. Etymologia, right? Facts, quote, facts of the origin. Again, facts of the origin and development of a word, end quote. From Old French etymology, right? I don't know if that's how they say it. Etymology.
Etymology, yeah. Go ahead.
Etymology, right? 14th century, again, modern French etymology, right? From Latin, etymologia.
Well, etymologia.
All right, etymologia, right? Latin. From Greek, etymologia, quote, analysis of a word to find its true origin, end
Correct.
quote. Properly, quote, study of the true sense of a word, end quote. So you're definitely studying when you're looking up these etymological definitions, right? Study of the true sense of a word, right? With logia, or logia, right? That's like kind of like logic, right? Quote, study of a speaking of, end quote. See logi plus etymon, quote, true sense, original meaning, end quote. Neuter of etymos, right? Quote, true, real, actual, end quote. Related to etios, quote, true, end quote. Which perhaps is cognate with Sanskrit satya, Gothic sungis, Old English
soft, like the Sophic Gregorian calendar. Sophic, soft.
That's so. It's fine. Quote unquote true from a pi, right? P-I-E,
Proto-Indo-European.
Set, quote, be stable, end quote. Latinized by Cicero as vediloquium.
That's That's exactly correct. Vediloquium, right? And in classical times, with reference to meanings later to histories, classical etymologists, Christian and pagan, based their explanations on allegory and guesswork, lacking historical records, as well as the scientific method to analyze them. The discipline fell into disrepute that lasted a millennium. Flaubert, Dictionary of Received Ideas, quote unquote, wrote that the general view was that etymology was, quote, the easiest thing in the world with the help of Latin and a little ingenuity, end quote. As a modern branch pertaining to linguistics, science treating of the origin and evolution of words from 1640s as, quote, an account of the particular history of a word, end quote, from mid-15th century, related etymologically. As practiced by Socrates in the Cratylus, etymology involves a claim about the underlying semantic content of the name, what it really means or indicates. This content is taken to have been put there by the ancient name givers. Giving in etymology is thus a matter of unwrapping or decoding a name to find the message the name givers have placed inside. Looky, Astro Cookie. That's why when it even came to the Helios Bibliothèque, which is contemporarily called the Holy Bible, all the names and stuff like that. That's why I said, guys, you get the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary to help you to get the etymology pertaining to a lot of those terms that are used in the Bible so that you can actually see that that is poetic fiction shrouding astromasonic fact, which really is tied to your endocrine system, alrighty, in different levels pertaining to your consciousness. Rachel Barney quotes Socrates, Angonistes, right?
Can you say that one more time? Because I think that people, like, that goes in one ear and out the other for most people. You said that the Helios Bibliothèque, right, otherwise known as the Holy Bible, is poetic fiction shrouding astromasonic facts.
Correct.
And what was the last part you said?
Because and that's why I suggest people go to their metaphysical Bible dictionary to be able to uncover the like rich nuggets that are in a lot of the words that are tied to their endocrine system and different levels in their consciousness.
Tied to your endocrine system and levels of consciousness that are within each one of us.
Correct.
Indeed.
Correct. So that's why these things are important. Not just, oh, we got on fezzes or the mothers wear turbans and we think we somebody based on some belief. No, this is some activity, being active without being an actor in the negative or in the sense of entertaining. What we're doing is actually showing you where, people are being, serious, on this amazing Pale Dead Monkey Friday. Some people recognize that as like there in the top left-hand corner. See what it says? But we're not warring against the stars here. That's all I'm saying.
Right. We're considerate. We're with the stars.
Basically, we're being very considerate. Socrates and Agonistes, the case of the Cratylus etymologies, end quote, in Oxford Studies in Ancient Philosophy, end quote, volume 16, 1998. All right. And that's where that reference is from particularly, right? And you guys can see actually some more here, which Brother already went into, right? You can go get some further knowledge on logia and how logi is used, right? So that you can really comprehend what is going on. So more science would be more logia, right? So it's just Morshologia. So
Morshology.
Yeah, I know, right? Morshology. So anyway, we just how we have fun with the etymology also. What we're going to do now is we're going to take it back, right? A couple of screens here. Now we're here at Black. And every word has a mother, a womb, a matrix, a matrix. What is actually a matrix? A matrix deals with the mother, with the womb. That's Latin. Alrighty, matrix. Not just some movie that seems cool and people are jacking into some, computer system virtual meta reality. However, the part of speech, the matrix, is dealing with letting you know where this word is descending from as far as its purpose. So Black is descended from a matrilineal purpose for describing alone. That's why it says adjective here. So Black could never be an actual being, a noun. Only thing it is being is a modifier. It's being a descriptive term for other nouns, right? And it's Old English. Okay, well, when we sing Old English, right? Many may have not gone over this, but I'm scrolling down to the bottom of this page here. So we can go to explanation of terms here at the bottom of the page. And I want to click that because I want an explanation on what Old English is, right? So I'm going to go alphabetically in order here and go to O, which comes after N. And there's Old English right there, right? Let me highlight that for you guys as I read it, right? Old English. The English language as written and spoken around the times between, that's what C before the number is. C after the number is century. However, C before the number is circa. C-I-R-C-A, circa, around about the time pertaining to 450 Anno Domini to around about the time 1100. So usually when I present this to people, I'm usually like, hey man, let's round 2022 down to the nearest 1,000, which would give you 2,000. And the year 450 up to the nearest 100, which would be 500. When you subtract 500 from 2,000, people can't get it like that. If you take 5 from 20, what are you left with?
15.
Absolutely left with 15. So 1,500 years, is that an ancient amount of time ago? I'm just curious. Is 1,500 years an ancient amount of time?
I wouldn't say. You saying the year 1500, or are you saying 1500 years prior
Just
to this?
1500 years ago from 2000 would be 500. So 2000 AD back to 500 AD doesn't sound like some ancient Egyptian BC stuff to me.
No, not to me either.
As the people have been socially engineered to think. So that means this word black, since it's Old English, it's an Old English adjective. It's fairly new. It's contemporary. It just came out. If black was an album, right? No Jay-Z. But if black was actually an album, right? That album was released around 450. So a little over 1570 years ago.
And I don't believe that I don't believe it was being like that far back, 450. I don't believe that it was applied to beings. I think it was still only being applied to objects or things.
Correct. And it's an adjective, right? The Old English language is written and spoken circa 450 to circa 1100. It is purely Germanic and has several dialects: West Saxon, Anglian, Kentish, and Northumbrian. So now, not only when we're reading etymology, we're looking at the word, we're looking at the adverb. However, you get the time travel here, guys. We just showed you when this word was spoken. So technically, if it was spoken only between 450 and 1100, and we're still utilizing it in 2022, wouldn't it be out of style? I'm just saying, like, would it kind of be like, are we like retro using it? Like, oh snap, I'm about to break out this throwback term, black, and apply it to people when it was only used, which looks like about 650 year span, it was only used anyway. It's like, hey man, we stopped using that term after 1100. Now look down. We're what, 922 years later, and we're still using an old English word. I mean, that's what it is about the term, but just English period. The English language, as it's called, it's just made up of so many. It's just like a gumbo of language. It is, so. However, some people are still emotionally attached to something that came out 1572 years ago and stopped being used 922 years ago. However, these people would want to arrogantly act upon defending being an Old English term which denotes pale, dead, and chimpanzee. I mean, does that this is not to make people feel like a dumbass. And a boo-boo, that's not what this is. What this is to give you a chance to correct your position in your own mind, in your own heart, in your own spirit, soul, and body. So that you can go, you know what? Let me stop attaching myself to that, because it actually has an outcome, like a spell. You cast this particular spell on yourself and your loved ones. It has a certain outcome. It has certain conversations. It speaks a certain way. It speaks on certain topics when you put that term on yourself. You know what I mean? It just does many different things. Right? So with that being said, what you can actually do is now allow yourself to begin to detach from it. I mean, just think about so many Black businesses, Black man, Black woman, strong Black. I mean, so you pale dead monkey business, pale dead monkey woman, pale dead monkey man, strong pale dead monkey. That's what you're saying. Don't waste your energy being upset with us bringing you the truth. When he yield the floor to Brother Hasan Bey as he begins to read what Black is in the adjectival sense. I'm going to just be forthcoming and tell you what my goal is when it comes to it linguistically. I can't wait till we get there.
Islam, Black.
I mean, I can't wait. I mean, why is that term there? You got to ask some of these beautiful olive shade, copper toned beings that think they Black people. Ask yourself a question and look in the mirror when you ask it. Am I pale? I mean, if you're not, then ask yourself, who is pale? And then you'll really know who the real Black man and Black woman is.
Indeed.
Pretty sure they're not copper tone. However, I yield the floor to you, beloved brother Islam.
Yeah. If you actually put an N after the A and switch that K to a O, you'll have blanco, which means white in Moorish Latin. It's very, very akin to the word white in so-called Spanish, right?
I know.
And very different from the word for black in Moorish Latin, which is negro,
which means dead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
technically. Yeah.
All right. So it's Old English, Blake, B-L-A-E-C, absolutely dark, quote unquote, right? Absorbing all light, of the color of soot or coal, from Proto-Germanic blakas, right? Burn, source also of Old Norse blacker, dark, Old High German bla, black, Swedish black, ink, Dutch blacken, to burn, from Proto-Indo-European blig, to burn, gleam, shine, flash. Also, or source also of Greek phlegian, to burn, scorch, Latin flagrare.
Flagrare, correct.
Yeah, flagrare. To blaze, glow, burn, from root be, to shine, flash, burn. The usual Old English word for black was swart. See swart. The same root produced Middle English blake, pale. From Old English black, bright, shining, glittering, pale. The connecting notions being perhaps fire, bright, and burning, dark, or perhaps absence of color. According to Old English Dictionary and Middle English, it is often doubtful whether black blake means black dark or pale, colorless, wan, livid. And a certain blake can mean either one of pale complexion or one of dark complexion. That's a vast spectrum. Like, we talking absolute dark and absolute pale. Don't tell me that a word means both. Like, honestly, I think that a lot of this is social engineering because, like, for example, when they started calling people blackamoors, I think that that was purposely done because eventually they were going to remove the more and just leave the black. And then they social engineered it to actually, for people to actually even consider it to describe themselves. They social engineered it to be dark. Right?
So technically, dark doesn't have to do anything with skin as far as someone being copper toned. It almost seems like it's a state of mind. One who has pale skin can also be dark complected in their mind because they're without light. They're lacking light or brightness. Like when someone says, "Oh, he's so bright," or "She's so bright," right? They can be obscure or gloomy, sad, cheerless.
That's true. If you're pale, you don't really have like a glow to you. You know what I mean? Like when a body loses this life, right? When the life leaves the body, it loses that glow and it becomes pale.
Correct. And that term not used until the 14th century. So that's not till 200 years after, Old English wasn't spoken. 1100s is when it was done, when Old English was spoken, between 450 and 1100. You're not getting an application to colors until the 14th century, which is 1300s. So that's 200 years later that word is being applied to people. In other words, it's something that's being placed somewhere where it does not belong originally or initially.
No, you're absolutely correct. So this word is even newer. Dark is even newer than black. And
correct. At least in the sense that it's being used. Because now we can go and see what Middle English, when was Middle English spoken? I'm pretty sure it's after Old English, which would solidify what you just said, brother. I yield as I go to click on the explanation of terms.
Yeah, I was just gonna bring up the fact. Oh, I've seen L right there. Interesting. I was gonna bring up the fact that the Dark Ages was dealing with the pale skin hybrid European.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't dealing with so-called soot-colored, soot shade beings, right? We know it's olive. But Middle English, the English language, was written and spoken circa around 1100 century at 1500. Yeah, that's even more recent.
Yeah, circa 1100, circa 1500. Yep.
So even saying you're dark doesn't mean that your skin looks like, you know, these letters here. That's saying that you're devoid of light.
Like you're stupid or something.
Yeah. Or you're evil.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the whole thing about the word black is. Like I forget what movie that was with Denzel Washington, when he goes into the dictionary and he shows the definition of dark and they go in.
I think that was Malcolm X when Elijah Muhammad is, pardon, some would say the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Some would say, I would say, Brother Elijah Bey, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who was giving Malcolm the adeptus degree. And given one the adept degree is when you take them to a dictionary and allow them to see the etymology pertaining to a term, so that will assist the people in no longer being under the grips of the hypnosis of emotional ties to terms and phrases, to words. Alrighty, so that you can now have a clear light on what something is and what it isn't. You would not bang a nail in with the screwdriver, and you wouldn't remove nails, you know, and you wouldn't unscrew screws with a hammer. Alrighty, so with that being said, knowing the purpose to something or someone, or even in terminologies, what is that term's purpose? Well, you'll be able to find that out when you actually see the origin, and then further find out how it's being used and or tested into language for certain applications to make other people be or act a certain way due to some political agenda. All right. So if we continue, funny. What'd you say?
No, that's funny because I was just thinking about, there's an artist called Lil Durk or something like that. Lil Durk, and that's dark, right?
I mean, it definitely is. I mean, and what is that saying? Little without light.
Yeah.
So it's, I mean, and that's the thing. A lot of people in like neighborhoods that, you know, we come from, that we have been raising around certain beings that want to glorify the hood way of things, you know what I mean, being from the streets, being a deep boy, all that stuff, when really what's actually occurring is an admission to ignorance, an admission to having zero light. Also, one could look cool amongst other beings that further degrade life on this planet, degrade the experience on this planet. And the degradation is happening not because of who they are. It's all based in how they comprehend. So when people are thinking like, oh, what's the problem on the earth? Why do we have so many wars? Because there's been years upon years upon years pertaining to social engineering that allow people to only be emotionally attached to terms, and then they arrogantly and blindly defend these terms and then have no clue why they're being treated the way they are. Well, they have subscribed to a term and then placing it on themselves, which yields a certain treatment that is actually the apropos treatment for such term being placed so ignorantly. You guys can continue and read that on your own, guys. We're going to move forward, but we wanted to bring that forward. And now we're going to go into these law dictionaries. All righty. Let's go here, because I'm telling you, in jurisprudence, we already see black is pale. I mean, in linguistics, black is pale. In jurisprudence, the science which treats of positive law, here on page 313, Henry Campbell Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition, the PDF page is 389 out of 1,956 pages. I want to zoom in here on what I have highlighted. Kiwi liter mortuus is how it's actually pronounced in the Latin. Kiwi liter mortuus. Kiwi liter mortuus. Some people will say civil liter mortuus, and just quick pronunciations for those that, you know, sometimes when people are learning, they get glassy-eyed and start yawning and stuff or whatever. So for those that can keep themselves up so that they're no longer brought under the spell, which keeps them sleepy when there's times to, hey, let's, you know, assist you in pulling yourself out of the muck and mire of being civilly dead. Notice that black, that Negro black colored, that African-American spell, because there's no African America on the map anywhere. And there's no such thing as the African diaspora. That is more hypnosis to help embellish your lovely experience in being civilly dead. Just being respectful.
Pan-African either.
Yeah, no Pan-African, no African diaspora. All that is pressure relief valves for idiots that do not seek to further their comprehension pertaining to what terms are. You can sit there and read all the books you want. I read this book by professors whoever, and I go to this institution. Hey, somebody grab me a cookie jar, you know, for the beings out there that think they've accomplished something. However, they're reading things and don't know how to read because they're not going for etymological referencing seriously. Therefore, you're not going for etymological referencing seriously. Guess what? You're civilly dead.
And who do you think regulates the curriculums at these colleges? The college is like one of the greatest weapons, because those who go to the college, they get the ones who they feel are going to be smart and they put them on their team before they grow into a leader for their own people. So
sounds like the Vatican is the ones running those colleges to me, because they have a dean who is actually deputized, so to speak, under the bishops and archbishops. I yield.
Indeed. Civil liter mortuus, some would say, because civil in English, right? But civi liter mortuus, civilly dead, dead in the view of the law, the condition of one who has lost his civil rights and capacity and is accounted dead in law. Rasor versus Rasor, 173 SC, 365, 175, Southeast Report of 545.
Indeed. And peace and greetings to everyone joining us in the chat. Shout out to our brother Corey Bays in the chat, of course, getting his press on in the comments there. Mother Sahar says, peaceful greetings, Brother Hasan and Brother R. Happy Holy Day. Well, happy Holy Venus to greet you too, Mother Sahar L. Appreciate you joining us and interacting in the chat. People are accepting and identifying with terms that they're not and rejecting who they really are, Mother Sahar says. And I completely 153% agree. Mother Sahar also says there's a lot of symbolism and esoteric meaning in the Bible. Check on that one too. I'll give that a green check. I definitely agree there. Don't sound ancient to me in that reference to being between circa 450 and 1100 AD. Yeah. She put Black women rock as another choice there when we was given those, different enumerations to how Black is being used. So it's saying pale dead monkey women rock. Awakened Soul 144 Eternal says, peace and love, family. Islam to you. Happy Holy. The Great Mother Sahara also says, why would he be considered, quote, most honorable when he knew who we were, but continued to mislead the people? Is that honorable? I would have to say there, that's not really honorable. If you know you're Moorish American, you're a Bey. However, you got to come out there and be some honorable Muhammad, right? Because Muhammad or Maha is great. Mead is measure. So if you're someone who's doing some great measuring, why not just tell people they're more instead of the so-called American Negro, the so-called Black man in America? And I've been there. I took my Kalima Shahada in the Nation of Islam under Emmanuel Abdullah Muhammad, Muhammad's Temple of Islam #1, where we had the Muhammad Speaks newspaper and the Supreme Oasis bean pie, not the final call and that thing they call a bean pie at those mosques with the final call brothers. I guess that's kind, should I say? Sentient beings, because I don't know if they're brothers, because how can you really be a sincere brother or mother and you're still civilly dead?
Going along to get along.
Period. And that's not to be mean to any of you that, oh man, how you going? I mean, look, yeah, I've gone through many schools pertaining to thought. However, I enjoy getting better at comprehending that which it is that I'm sharing to firstly better myself before coming here to share with any of my loved ones or to our peers across the planet. All righty.
Don't get stuck in first grade.
Go ahead.
Don't get stuck in first grade.
Yeah, definitely don't get stuck there. Definitely don't get stuck there. You guys gotta graduate. You know what I mean? You gotta allow yourselves to be grown minds, right? And womb minds, WOMB minds, right? Because the first schoolroom and first teacher in the first schoolroom, however, is mother and the womb. First teacher is mother. First schoolroom is the womb. All right. And these things that we have to be clear on, guys. Gotta love ourselves and get back to these things. But you were just talking about how the word Black ain't been used since 1100. So if this stuff with the Moorish Science Temple of America and Prophet Noble Drew Ali was like 100 years ago, back in 1929, would you be reading these letters earlier? Why we got to go to that? Because actually the reason why you have to go there because it shouldn't have never been left alone in the first place. However, people had put full life down to be civilly dead.
Yeah, Noble Drew Ali told you weren't Negro, Black, or colored. It's just so funny how all the, organizations for Moors after the Prophet went back to calling the people Negro and Black. Like, and then notice how politicians, none of these people will say anything about Moors. Like, you won't hear them speak on it. They will not speak on it. They'll say Black though. They'll say African American though. They'll say Negro though. But you'll never hear them say Moor. But another thing which I find very interesting that you'll also never hear a European, I never heard coming out of a European's mouth any disrespect towards the Prophet. I've never heard them ridicule the Prophet to the lowest. I've only heard unconscious Moors or other Moors talk bad about the Prophet. Remember that, because that's very interesting. They won't say more. They won't speak on it at all. They won't even speak on it. They won't say nothing bad about the Prophet because they probably really worshiping him, in secret, giving supreme honors to Noble Drew Ali in secret. And then these unconscious Moors and some of these dirty Moors are out here fighting about the Prophet and talking crazy about Noble Drew Ali. Pay attention to that.
Absolutely. And that's why, guys, you got to also pay strong attention to, very close attention to how we're going through this particular presentation today and make connections from the time we began to the time that we close out. Guys, go back and watch this 2 more times. Watch this 3 times. Take notes. and then make your correlations and see what it is that we have brought together linearly so that you can see like, oh man, like, okay, well, hold on. I'm not pale. I'm not civilly dead. So then what are you then? And why avoid being more? Why avoid being more, Shamar? It's not new. It's actually very ancient.
Yes.
It just so happened someone had to come and remind you of the ball that was dropped. The in full life ball was dropped. And what was picked up was the civilly dead bed. Drop the ball for a bed.
Yep.
So it's time to wake up. Seriously, not woke culture wake up. Wake up by knowing what things actually are. What are these words coming out of your mouth? How can you be the living word when you're being the civilly dead word? Black.
Yeah, let me read a quick excerpt here from this is from the Promotional Education Distribution from R.E. Bey Publications. You get this free, right, at no cost when you place an order, right? And then we're gonna look at page 5, the last paragraph. It says, one who domiciles.
Do you want to, pardon my brief interruption. I spotlighted you. You can take your phone and flip your camera if you want to put it on the page that you're reading on. I stopped the screen shared so you can do that if you like.
Indeed. All right. So it says one who domiciles, right? Well, we would probably say domus, one who is domus, right? In the American territories, organic land, or who desires to correct and change his or her name may do so without ever making an application to any court or needing a court's authorization. This law fact must be made clear to all peoples, particularly those oppressed people who have by design, right? We're talking about social engineering, been presumed to be Negroes, coloreds, and blacks.
And pale dead monkeys.
Which are coins, right? Coined terms placed upon them of which they have in the past accepted.
So what if they, hold on. So that means they would have accepted bitch. Instead of black people, they would have accepted bitch people. Oh, you know how they don't like that word in that type of tone. Who you calling a bitch? They ready to fight and everything, ain't they? It's like when you call them nigger. How are you going to get offended by being called nigger when a nigger is a pale skin? Nigger is chimpanzee, troglodyte nigger, which is a chimpanzee. Again, back to your pale skinned sons and daughters.
And I would like for you to pull up that website real quick. We don't have to read anything on it. I just want you to show the headers so that people know that it is a species of chimpanzee. And it's funny how they can get offended by nigger, but then allow themselves to be called Negroes. And I know there was a point in time where you would call someone black and you'd be fighting. But slowly but surely, with more social engineering and you know what they say, like if you say a lie so many times, eventually the people accept it as truth. I guess it was pounded into the minds of the unconscious Moors, right? Their children, and eventually they got indoctrinated and they accepted it. But it's like, hey, if you get indoctrinated to believe that, you're a monkey, and then you say, hey, you're not really a monkey, you're actually, the original man on the planet, right? Why would you continue to say, no, I'm a monkey? Like, someone came and told you the truth. You're free now. It's like they came and opened the gate, and you're like, you don't want to get out the cage. However, and it says, however, the law of the land and the governing principles do not protect such brands, as they are not of the human family. They are fictions created on paper via certificates, of which all certificates imply a sale. Those instruments then are in fact and in law instruments of human trafficking and wardship tenures.
Wow.
In other words, being under the jurisdiction of a corporate state that issued corporate instruments, birth certificates, identification cards, etc., is being under a quasi-national domicile or municipal domicile, and mores are of a national domicile, national domus. Therefore, a state corporation cannot issue an identification to you. A corporation, corporate state, can only issue instruments to corporate entities. Those who are of a corporate state's jurisdiction are then, and of course, wards of that said state, therefore are not protected as natural people.
Thus, but they're civilly dead people.
Yeah, exactly. You took the words right out. Thus, kive liter mortuus. Right? Are you
affording any rights to be acknowledged? Can you show the cover of that real quick? Just that's some of the extra that you get when you order things from RV Bay Publications, right? This is just the extra stuff. Getting started. What you gonna need? We're going over some of these materials that we actually have, so that we can share on the screen for you guys, and then encourage you to go further. We can't do it all for you. We can't sit here and think it for you. What we can do, and what we are going to continue to do, is encourage you to go on the journeys that we went on and that we continue to go on, because we are adept students for life. Awakened Soul 144, Eternal says, yes, definitely. Mother Sahara says, indeed, and she laughed. And when we were going on these things, just show how, the pale dead monkeys, are out here, talking about they want to be a part of the human family. Yes, you can be human being. You can be the human being fully in full life, provided you allow yourself to let go of those emotional ties. All righty. Study to show yourself approved. Because right now, the only thing you're proving is that you're civilly dead. All right.
Got Saturn right here, just chilling.
Islam. I know, right? That the sticker that nephew gave you is right. It's still there, right? That's like 3, 4, 5 moon cycles ago.
Indeed.
So, all right. So now let's go on back to our screen share here, right? Share this content because it's art night. So me and my baby about to be doing art. So I'm ready to go back here and draw. You know what I mean? Watch I make jewelry, all this other stuff, man. So it's not gonna be a long one, guys. Let me start the broadcast here. Right? We continue to move on forward. Right? And let's now come here back to Henry Campbell Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition. And let's move down to from 389 out of 1956 pages. Let's go to 407. Right? Let's go to 407 pages out of 1956 pages. Right? And we're going to zoom in on color here. And the actual book is page 331, Henry Campbell Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition. All righty. Ancient and modern jurisprudent terms, right? Or jurisprudent terms, words and terms, ancient and modern. So, sometimes people are, well, we colored people or people of color, they got this POC now, POC, people of what? People of an appearance? People of, right? Semblance. Go ahead, bro. I yield to you.
Color. An appearance, semblance, or simulacrum as distinguished from that which is real. A prima facie or apparent right, hence a deceptive appearance. A plausible, assumed exterior, concealing a lack of reality.
Hold on, time out. So people that call themselves colored people are concealing a lack of reality people. So they're
the fact that they're more.
Wow, they're but are these the same type of people talking about how real they are?
I'm a real one.
Yet in their minds, they're being a people who conceals a lack pertaining to said realness, right?
A disguise or pretext.
So hold on. So colored people are a disguised people. So they've been wearing masks. Not just when they thought they were being told to by their chattel property owners.
Yikes. Before their pandemic.
Interessante. Let's trust that, that they can be healed from being offended because we're telling the truth. That's what it is. Which is stern, doesn't change, and doesn't pass away. So to all you concealing a lack of reality people out there, see how you're further civilly dead when you take on black, which means pale, which you're not. So that means you'll look in the mirror and lie to yourself.
Color, if there's color in a pleading, color is ground of action admitted to subsist in the opposite party by the pleading of one of the parties to an action, which is so set out as to be apparently valid, but which is in reality legally insufficient.
So not only are you civilly dead, you're legally insufficient. So you're legally insufficient people. Mm-hmm. Don't be mad at me. These are ancient and modern jurisprudence terms. Ancient and modern. So we already went to Kiwilito de Mortuus to show how civilly dead these black people are.
A term of the ancient rhetoricians and early adopted into the language of pleading. It was an apparent or prima facie right, and the meaning of the rule that pleadings in confession and avoidance should give color as that they should confess the matter adversely alleged to such an extent, at least as to admit some apparent right in the opposite party, which required to be encountered and avoided by the allegation of new matter. Color was either expressed, i.e., that is inserted in the pleading, or implied, which was naturally inherent in the structure of the pleading. The word also means the without light color, right? The dark
without light. So
yeah.
Again, that's the pale skin. So that means if you're copper toned, if you have that olive shade pertaining to your skin, you have light. However, if you're pale, not only are you pale complected, but you're dark in your mind also because you're lacking the light, which means your thought is allowing your body to shine not. Even though shining is black, but I mean shine in the sense of having light.
Yeah.
I yield.
So dark color would actually be the lack of light appearance, right? Of the skin. Wow, the lack of light appearance of the skin. So
there's no glow. Like when a woman's with child and she's glowing, skin ain't glowing then if she's dark. I yield.
Showing the presence of Negro blood.
That's so dead funny. Blood, monkey that's blood.
So funny that they just described pale beings and then they turned around and said Negro blood, which we know.
Well, it all goes together because the Negro is the pale skin.
Absolutely. That's why it's so funny. Like it's right there. It's like right there. It's not even. They're not even hiding it. You know? And hence it is equivalent to African descent or parentage. That's even funnier because that is a social engineered term. Nobody's African, right?
Which would also still say that they descend from something more original than them, which means, oh, you're Negro because you're not the original. And African is dealing with another term that was placed on the land, which is actually a Mexum. We're here at a Mexum, which is Africa. What you think is Africa is Al Gibolan. Believe nothing we say. Go and research it, try to prove it wrong, and when you prove it right, teach your loved ones. Share anything for us, share anything with us also pertaining to bettering our studies. However, we're not going to take on any emotional, we shall overcome kumbaya ass shit. I'm just going to warn you in advance. Don't you bring me your Negro black coloredness because I'm going to probably get quiet and just look at you like, wow. You need to repetitively go over these things some more because you're allowing yourself to be emotionally tied to some shit. Let it be like something else that people can learn quickly. Let them want something. Let them want a pair of shoes or something. They know how to immediately comprehend how to get those pair of shoes. But when you need to comprehend how to get who you actually are, it's like, oh man, that's so deep and there's so much to study. Shut your punk ass up. You wasn't being a punk when you wanted some tennis shoes that you didn't make, that you sat there and acted like a Federal Reserve agent to get Federal Reserve notes, which you're not really qualified to even touch and or handle. You have no contract or oath of office to do so. You're not making advances to the Federal Reserve Bank. However, you still wanted those J's because you're too busy being civilly dead.
You know, when I see African, I think of Puerto Rican. Like, that's like the colonist name. Like, you put in the colonist name. Like, I'm Africanos, the colonists, and all these people shall now be called African. Like, you guys just gonna accept that? Like, you find out, like, that's like Filipinos. Like, King Philip, you know what I mean, came and colonized. Now all you people are Filipinos. Like, you guys are just gonna accept that? Like,
that's why I said, what if somebody came along and the conqueror was Sir Bitch, and now everybody is bitchians or something like, what, we're bitchians, and don't you disrespect my bitchian culture. And it's like, okay, all right,
the bitchian diaspora.
Basically, that's what it is. It's really what it is. We're gonna finish off with color of authority, color of law, and color of office. And then we're going to do our invocation out, man. Like I said, I'm ready to go do some art with my baby. I yield, bro. Color of authority.
Color of authority. We already know what color is. So that semblance or presumption of authority sustaining the acts of a public officer, which is derived from his apparent title to the office or from a writ or other process in his hands, apparently valid and regular, right? Apparently, but it's actually not. Color of law, the appearance or semblance without the substance of legal right. And then we have color of office, an act unjustly done by the countenance of an office, being grounded upon corruption, to which the office is as a shadow and color. A claim or assumption of right to do an act by virtue of an office made by a person who is legally destitute of any such right.
Destitute, meaning they are poor of that right. They completely have not been afforded the right to do that shit. So this is your whole like policy enforcers that people think are police officers. They're not officers. Policy enforcers enforcing an insurance policy that is dealing with regulating your land conveyance, as all its material have come from the land. However, they're converting the land not just into a land conveyance, which you call a car, to travel in. However, they're also saying that that particular land, that is the land conveyance, the actual machine itself that you get behind the wheel and press the accelerator to go from point A to point B, they're actually saying that's a federal trade zone, a mobile federal trade zone, especially when you register, well, only and especially when you register it with the so-called state of corporation. Now it's ceded land.
Yeah, and dealing with the federal statutes regarding taxes, trade or business is performing the functions of a public office. So it's like, are you performing the functions of a public office in a trade zone? Lastly, before we do the invocation out, can you just pull up that link that I sent you, just so the people see the title real quick, right? Don't have to get into it. I haven't read it myself. I actually archived it, and I was gonna look over. It's like 20-something pages. That link right there, yes, it's a government link too.
National Library of Medicine, National Center for Biotechnology Information. And this article says the muscles and nerves of a chimpanzee, troglodytes niger, and a Cynocephalus anubis. So it's telling you right there that the nigger is a chimpanzee, a troglodyte nigger, which is you mix the chimpanzee genes with our genes, then you get what is falsely called white people. They are the actual black people. You've been living, trading places. Eddie Murphy, Dan Aykroyd. Are you?
Yeah, I was gonna say the blending has just been perfected, right? For so many, thousands of years blending, right? They've perfected them, right? So now people are attracted to.
Yeah, man. I mean, and it's and I mean, what'd you say, bro?
No disrespect to the Albion sons and daughters.
Yeah, they are our sons and daughters. All righty, guys. And what you can do also, continue to read yourselves. You can go on there on page 332 and continue to read all the other color terms that are there in Henry Cavill Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition. Really see, guys, to how you can begin to alleviate yourself with what we showed you here. Hey, we went to this, we're looking at it this way, we're analyzing this, we're analyzing that. So we're showing you the etymology, the matrix, the etymon, which is the actual definition written, so to speak, in the etymology. You get the term, you get its matrix, which is part of speech, and the actual etymon itself. And you get to trace the orthology, which is its spelling, and the morphology pertaining to how it's been used and attested in language also, and how there's been letter transpositioning as well. So with that being said, guys, what I'm going to do here now is come back to our Divine Constitution and Bylaws, the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, Moorish Science Temple of America, overall the Moorish Divine and National Movement, where brother and our beloved brother, in whom we're well pleased, our beloved prophet, Noble Drew Ali, standing there in his Sharif Fez, standing due guard handsomely and having his feet on a 45, standing firmly upon invocation in and out, termed the Moorish American prayer. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you all in the chat that have joined us also on YouTube. Those that have come from Instagram came on over. See, those of you that are going to come in times, in dimensions to manifest, term the future. You guys see this archive later. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day also to see this and add this to your repertoire, because this is something you can surely pass down to your little ones so that they are not taken advantage of also when deciding if they decide to contract with beings, at least they can defend themselves appropriately. And this is just some basics, just this brief introduction to how to go about defending yourself by knowing what terms and phrases are being utilized when people are seeking to bind themselves, attach themselves, contract with ye, all right, with whom ye are, right, with you. However, if I say you, I don't mean 20 CFR 422.104 you, because this is to bring you out of being a debtor pertaining to the United States. However, those that are debtors are those that are contracted, swearing an oath of office, doing foreign trade in a foreign trade zone on federal land, according to Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17.2.1, if you check the Constitution annotated. All righty, as Brother R and I have presented so many times, and it's also presented there with inside the Jurisprudence Gym. Also, a shout out to our Jurisprudence Gym community, our loved ones there that are always in the Friends in Law group, on the Bible studies every Tuesday and Thursday. It was a short class yesterday also, but excellent nuggets pertaining to information shared. All righty, guys, so we're going to put all 5 appendages extended on the left hand. We're going to extend all 5 appendages on the left hand, just the index in the middle on the right. We're going to face east here, all righty? You guys are going to repeat after me. You can repeat aloud or in your heart. Either one doesn't matter. All righty, Islam.
Islam.
Islam. Allah, the Father of the universe.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
Father of love.
Father of love.
Truth.
Truth.
Peace.
Peace.
Freedom.
Freedom.
And justice.
And justice.
Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide.
My guide.
And my salvation.
And my salvation.
By night.
By night.
And by day.
And by day.
Through his holy prophet.
Through his holy prophet.
Noble Drew Ali.
Noble Drew Ali.
Let's go on and stop this screen share here. Thank you all so much that are joining us there in the chat again and interacting. Appreciate you. Mother Sahar, she is coming through every time and showing her love and interacting with us in the chat. Islam to you also, Mother. And what I and Brother R do, we're going to close this thing on now. We just did our invocation out. Any other questions, comments, and or suggestions? My beloved brother in whom I'm well pleased. Is there anything else we can share with the people here?
I think that's all. Guess we'll see you guys for AstroCivics Sunday.
Yeah, man, and go in, right? So we see you guys in 2 days for AstroCivics Sunday. I know it's like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. I mean, we just be going in, man. This is amazing. Got over 400 something videos, guys, there on 7 Hill Star. All righty. Mondays and Wednesdays, we really focused on the astrology for you all. And when it comes to Friday and Sunday, Friday is Impromptu Improv. It can be astrology, it can be civics, it's AstroCivics in general, period. For we are AstroCivicians. As well as on Sundays, AstroCivics Sunday is exactly that too. It can be astrology. However, we're always making sure you guys are jurisprudently exercising so you can be jurisprudently healthy and wealthy in your standing amongst the affairs pertaining to other minds around you. All right. So any other questions, comments, and or suggestions? Going twice.
I'll just go ahead and read it real quick because I was thinking about it earlier. It was on my spirit to read it. It's just a short paragraph about nationalization. It says, nationalization as a social and political act initiated by the sovereigns of the land and is a universally recognized and self-defense instituted political right. Nationalization rights may be authoritatively initiated and made public notice by the legitimate and true nationals of the land, political state, or country. Such a broad-based political and social saving power and measure is effectuated through the natural people specifically identified and legitimate national representative government. In the law of evidence, identity of the nationals must be affirmed and proven in such matters.
Islam. Well, with that, beloved brother, I appreciate you. To everyone that has joined us now and will join us in the dimensions to manifest, thank you all so much. This is where I and my beloved brother, in whom I'm well pleased, Brother R. Bey, we are going to say, hold on, before that, guys, DM Brother R. Bey on Instagram at Ara_Muwaba_Bey, or it's R. Bey on Facebook too, correct?
Islam.
All righty, you guys can actually see Brother Ara perform, all righty, utilizing, of course, his, we all have our pen names by which we present some of the best and most, high class of lyricism, and I'm just being honest. It's not too many people that can really deliver that which is being delivered, especially from my brothers from 7 Hill Star. When it comes to lyricism, especially songwriting and music, you guys can actually join him live there, in person, there on location at Ninja Karaoke for tomorrow, as well as if you can't be there in the physical, you can be there virtually in person via Zoom. However, you have to go to Brother R. Muwaba Bey's pages at Ara_Muwaba_Bey at Instagram. And then on Facebook, it's just Ara Muwaba Bey, ARAHMUABABEY, and get your tickets, all right? Get your admit ones, all right? Get at least 2 of them so that you and someone else can exactly do the enjoyment, with your ears pertaining to that which will be performed. And we're going to show that. And if you haven't caught it, it will be recorded via Zoom also. All righty, for people that want to catch it later. I'm just pretty sure it's going to be an exchange because it's going to be a lyrical lesson. So the elementary tuition for that recording is going to be more than what it was if you would have caught it as it was happening in real time. Brother R, you want to add anything to that so that people be a lot more, efficient in getting to you immediately to be able to exchange the energy to see you perform?
Indeed. I'll just basically make it clear. The bounty, right, i.e. the donation, the LMOs and their tuition is 15 notes in lieu of lawful money. You can inbox me on, like you said, Instagram or Facebook. And for an additional 10 notes, so if you were to transact 25 notes in total, you get to come live and get the video afterward sent to you via email. So you will forever have that recording. If you're showing yourself on camera as we are right now, while you're watching the live performance, you get to see yourself on the recording as well. So all of that will be documented for the record, and you'll get that recording for the record as well. 25 notes will allow you access and the video afterward, or 15 notes, you will just be able to come for the live, and then the video is going to be private after that. So inbox me on Facebook or on Instagram, Ara Muwaba Bey. Facebook, Ara_Muwaba_Bey on Instagram. Islam.
And newly released from Paragon RICO, it's the newest smash, guys. I mean, it's so raw. However, it's just really euphonic, right? It's very pleasing to the ear. You guys, check it out. It's called Unconscious, and it's featuring Core, which is our beloved brother, whom we're well pleased, Brother Corey Bey. That's his pen name under which he does songwriting. And we're going to actually play that on our way out. And once that's done, we will give our proper namastes in Islam. So here I go.
Content that will put it in context, constant cultivation and correcting the concept. If nonsense is dictating your mindset, then are you really coherent or are you unconscious? Content that will put it in context, constant cultivation and correcting the concept. If nonsense is dictating your mindset, then are you really coherent or are you unconscious? I put one foot forward at a time, into the state of the mind of living and know you've been living a lie. I put one foot forward at a time, nothing is greater than that because I know it's the height of the all, and every day is a new level. Transcending your animal ways, open mind like the first two petals. Blossom on the road, risen, rising, realizing, advising. If you ain't know, the main goal is to do better. Content that will put it in context, constant cultivation and correcting the concept. If nonsense is dictating your mindset, then are you really coherent or are you unconscious? Content that will put it in context, constant cultivation and correcting the concept. If nonsense is dictating your mindset, then are you really coherent or are you unconscious? I fall back and let the rhythm hit him when it schism. Possess them, it's time for an altar redress them. Court, all of your confession. How your petty mind state is molested. Follow super around your seven sincere. No cap, no shade, no sincere. Full eclipse in an eye, look here. I dare you, mirror. Six axis, no billing. Concept clarity. Remember, you can never compare. I be 33rd, 360 scary. No thing or think is out of context. In my spirit, bag up and slip. All coherent. Constant content cultivated up. Another level out the money. Make sure slap little buddy. Treasonous act never funny. Outside past motherfucking context. Constant cultivation and correcting the concept. If nonsense is dictating your mindset, then are you really coherent or are you unconscious? Content that will put it in context. Constant cultivation and correcting the concept. If nonsense is dictating your mindset, then are you really coherent or are you unconscious? I put one foot forward at a time. Enter the state of the mind of living and then you be living a lie. I put one foot forward at a time. Nothing is better than that because I know it's the height of them all. And every day is a new level. Transcending your animal ways. Open mind like the first two petals. Blossom on the road. Risen, rising, realizing, advising. If you ain't know, the main goal is to do better. Be calm while they predict disease and bombs. I recharge. Energy is so free. We're on. I respawn out of scratch like I can't be harmed. Anti-terrorism, swear this ain't classic Johns. No magic wand. I know they want a passive song, but I'm active like a pickup game of basketball. Breathe freely, you ain't gotta wear a mask at all. Easy, that ain't even an attack at all. Content that will put it in context. Constant cultivation and correcting the concept. If nonsense is dictating your mindset, then are you really coherent or are you unconscious? Content that will put it in context, constant cultivation and correcting the concept. If nonsense is dictating your mindset, then are you really coherent or are you unconscious?
And this song is already being called abusive. Like,
yo,
the song just came out, and Facebook won't let me share it on any group saying that the content has been reported as abusive. I'm like, wow.
Just dropped it and it was already getting flagged. It's like, man, like we're just the most watched, we're the most known and most watched. Just that everybody just enjoys us secretly, obviously, you know, under their pillow. So again, that's Paragon RICO featuring Core. That's Unconscious. That's how you'll see it there on YouTube, guys. Just released 12 hours ago. All right, you run those numbers up there, guys. Really check it out. When you go to Paragon RICO, play all the songs, guys. Take a listen, and you will definitely see, you know, that Brother R definitely has something to share with the entire universe. All right, guys, you will not be disappointed in the content that's there, especially when correcting your concepts. All right. So with that being said, I am going to bring this on back here to the Zoom and say, again, guys, make sure you DM him so you can see him perform live tomorrow, either in personam or virtually in personam, as you know, we'll be doing the recording for said performance, even for those that missed it and want to get their hands on it later. It's going to be more than if you record it live. All righty. However, that's all good. Support those that are really sincerely giving you their heart. All righty, as far as their lyrical content in songwriting, book writing, or whatever writing the case may be, even as we present here, guys. All righty, so support your brother because he definitely gives his time and energy in community service every Friday and Sundays specifically, all righty, as well as on Tuesdays and Thursdays in the jurisprudence gym. So, you know, enjoy. I know I am. I'm going to enjoy, right? And even though it's my bro, I'm going to still send my units also, you know what I'm saying? Because this is about support, guys. All right. So this is doing it so that we know how to exchange energy. You guys have things going on too, provided we really see that you're sincere about what you do. We have no problem exchanging our energy with you also. All righty. Last time, comments, questions, and no suggestions?
Yeah, I was just going to say, the community service is pretty much, it feels like it's every day. Even though I know we do these 2 videos, Friday and Sunday, man, this is every day we're correcting our concepts and growing and learning what we can so that we could bring that forth to those who are sincerely want to learn. So,
indeed.
Islam.
All righty, y'all. We thank you all so much for joining us. This is where we say namaste, namaste, namaste. Islam, Islam, Islam. Peace and love.
Peace and love, bro.
Peace, bro.